Hey, welcome back to Meet the Masons.
Thank you guys for joining us again.
Welcome back.
It has been a while since we actually sat down and talked to you guys, so we're pretty excited about this. So we recently celebrated our 5-year anniversary, guys.
5.
Yes, it has been amazing and it's crazy.
5.
It flew by like really fast.
5.
You think so?
I got 5 on it.
Thank you. You think it flew by fast?
High 5.
Anyway.
Yes, it did go by fast.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you for answering my question. If you guys don't know about our story, we are actually going to link our stories below. Just a little snippet. We met in February 2013 and we got married November 2013, and that's all I'm going to give to you guys. 3-week engagement, and you can see the backstory below. But today we're going to give you 5 lessons that we learned in these 5 years.
Yes.
Yeah. You ready?
You want to do number 1?
You take it.
I'll take number 1. Okay. Number 1. Marriage. Oh, marriage. Number 1.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Ready? Number 1. Marriage requires faith every single day. A lot of times, at least my mental thought pattern, getting ready to get married is like, oh, okay, you know what? Everything's great before we got married, this and that. And after we get married, it's just going to continue being great. But it's like, whew, that was a misnomer. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like it requires faith each and every day. The same faith that took us to the altar takes us past the altar each and every day. I have to assign that faith to go in a different direction or the same direction for what we have to accomplish as far as what our goals are in our marriage, in our communication, our relationships, in our finances, with work, wherever the case may be. Like, it literally takes more and more faith, not just faith to be thinking stuff internally, but also the action behind faith, because faith without works is dead. So staying in faith. What do you have to say about faith?
Yeah.
That's something in my eye. Keep going.
I would say actually I'll wait till you get out your eye.
Okay.
I would actually say, yes, I agree with that. Faith to, like you said, it's not just all pretty and glamorous. You know, we go into marriage thinking, oh, everything's going to be perfect. But then you have to use your faith after that to acquire things, to get past arguments or offenses that even you may have in marriage. So it doesn't stop there. Like, once you get married, that's not like the goal and it's done and it's like easy selling from there. No, it's not like that. So, yeah.
That's when the real fight starts, because it's like, hold on, it's like, oh yeah, we're married, we did it. It's like, no, you just joined us.
Right.
Here is what it's like. Day 1, fight.
Yes. All right, the second lesson I learned in 5 years of marriage is that nothing happens unless it's planned. Like,
that's funny.
Nothing. So it's like, after a while you can kind of cruise and like, oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And it kind of like happens, or you may mention to your spouse, oh, I want to go to this place, or I want to get this done, and it may happen. But after a while, I think if you're not intentional about planning fun things, planning goals, planning to do anything, then it won't get done, or your expectations won't be met, and then you'll be upset because you didn't plan it, or you guys didn't plan it together. So there have been times where like, we wanted to do things for a vacation or for celebration purposes, and we kept talking about it, but we never planned it out. We just was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. We would mention it casually. Ooh, excuse me. We would mention it casually, but we didn't write it out. We didn't write out the budget. We didn't write out when we would be going and all these different things, and it didn't happen. We still had a good time, but it wasn't what we planned and what we desired. So I just realized that you have to be intentional about planning everything that you want to do in your marriage. For us, we planned a lot of things. We planned on getting a house, paying certain debts. We planned on having a child after we traveled certain places, and it worked. And so we've seen some good examples of actually planning things out and writing it out before us. But there have also been times where we didn't, and we didn't see it, and it was like, well,
we didn't work the process.
We didn't work the process.
If the process works, keep going. Yeah. So I think there was another thing where it's like, basically the effort that it took to get to this level, it takes to continue. I may have mentioned that a little bit earlier, but like when it comes to planning, we've already planned so many different things and we saw the results, and now it's like, don't stop planning. Because we have an internal idea. I have an internal idea. She has an internal idea of what she wants to see And it's like, hey, if you're saying what you're saying, don't assume that your spouse completely knows what you're talking about. And is that another point?
That's another point.
Yeah.
So so Jared is going to get to his second point.
Okay.
Or third point.
So yeah. So next point is it's important to say what you want to see. Because a lot of times we can say things that I don't want to be growing in the house, or she doesn't want to grow in the house. It's like everything that you say is a little plant and you put it in the corner. And do you want tomatoes? Do you want limes? Do you want oranges, apples, whatever case may be, watermelon? Whatever you have, it's going to grow. And every time you let one of those words out, it's a seed, and it's going to grow in your house. It's going to grow in your relationship. And you don't want to say things that you don't want to see, because those seeds go in the ground and they come up later.
Yeah.
And sometimes they bite you in the butt. It's like, oh yeah, well 2 weeks ago you said this, and you have a deep-seated item that you said to your spouse that is rooted in their heart, and they're like, now this offense is something that you started and that they're carrying around with them, which is their choice to carry it, but it's your choice to deliver it. So I don't have to deliver things that I don't want her to open and receive, and she doesn't have to take things that I say unintentionally or in the wrong mindset. But at the same time, I can stop the whole process just by saying things the right way, or just by making sure that I'm understood and not saying things that I don't want to see, because that's what develops in your relationship, is what comes out of your mouth.
Right. And I would say, even in a practical sense about speaking what you want to see, like, express exactly what you want in your marriage. Express exactly what you need, whether it's communication-wise or what have you, because like we said earlier, you can have these expectations in your mind, but because you didn't communicate it to your spouse, you automatically think that they're going to read your mind. I know that's a common issue that women have. Like, we just automatically
should know me by now.
Exactly.
It's like, you should tell me by now.
Exactly. So that was a big lesson that we learned. It's like, I can't assume that he knows exactly what I'm talking about, even though I feel like he knows me good enough. And yeah, he knows me better than anybody else. I still have to communicate what exactly it is that I want, so that I won't be upset when he doesn't meet that expectation.
Right. Because you can have a good example of this would be like, hey, what do you want to eat today? You should know what I want to eat. It's like, well, you like a couple different things. And typically when I ask you what you want to eat, you don't know. So if you don't know what you want to eat, and you have favorite foods that we both know about, and I bring one of your favorite foods, but it just happened not to be the day that you wanted that food, how can you expect all the other stuff to be something that's automatic? It's like, no. Say what you want today.
Exactly.
And that goes both ways. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, you should know. At least I think that. I don't say that. But it's like, I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Even with, like, gifts and things that you may want, like, just say it. Don't make it a guessing game.
Yeah.
No guessing game.
Guessing game is lame.
Nah, we're not that kind of couple where guessing game works. It's not fun for us, so.
Yeah.
Right. Number 4.
Number 4.
Yes. Date night is important. Like, it's just key. In the beginning of our marriage, we really prioritized weekly date nights. I think we went on Thursdays, and it was fun. It wasn't even like to amazing places. Like, we went to Wendy's, we went to different places.
Because all you wanted was Wendy's.
I wanted Wendy's at the time. And plus our budget. He had just lost his job. You guys will look at our story. I don't know if we talked about that part. Maybe we did. Okay. So we didn't have a lot, but we just wanted to spend time with each other, but we made sure that that was priority. And then eventually...
You look cute.
Thanks, babe. Look at you. Anyway, so eventually we got to a place in our marriage where, you know, we would go out to eat because we needed to eat. And we was like, well, that's kind of like a date. But it wasn't. And then we didn't make date night a priority anymore. We weren't doing it as much. And then once River got into the picture, it was just like, oh, well, we can do family nights out because we love her and we always want her around. And for us, that worked probably like for 6 or 7 months. Then it was like, okay, stop playing games. We need our time back. So then we got a nanny and we hired someone that we know personally to have date nights every Tuesday night, and we prioritize our marriage and us again. And I feel like it just made such a difference because we could just have fun in a different way. There's fun with family with River, like we love her and we have so much fun with her, but there's fun that we have with just one another and reconnecting. And I think it's so important not to lose that and to keep that a priority in your marriage. So that was important for me, for us. Yeah,
I would say not just for you, for us, like you said. Because it's like, we were doing something a couple weeks ago, and we had a schedule change for some events coming up, and I was like, oh, she just booked this event or this venue on our date night. She didn't even talk to me about it. So I just didn't say anything. Then 1 week, then 2 weeks, I'm like, she didn't say she canceled date night. She just went ahead and canceled it.
It was
then
a church event, by the way. It wasn't like a random.
It doesn't matter.
Random thing.
It doesn't matter. We're gonna cut that out.
Why?
Because it's not important what the event was. It's the principle of communicating in advance.
Okay. But I just don't want to make it seem like I was just like planning something with my friends or something. Like it wasn't that.
I don't care.
Anyway,
we're transparent. We'll leave it in there either way. So we had a dance production, which was amazing. She did a great job. She had a solo, and she was doing her, thing, and it was a lot of fun. But it was like, hey, if you're going to have this on this night, don't go and reschedule our date night day and not say anything. And then I'll be like, oh, yeah, I got this. It's like, well, I would rather know in advance. Yeah. And you could change it to Monday or Wednesday, Thursday.
That was my bad.
Whatever case may be. And I was like, oh.
And I missed it, too.
Yeah, you literally missed it. She wasn't there.
No, I really did. And I felt, and literally we felt the difference because we just started doing date night. Started it again maybe 3 months ago. So 3 months in, stopped it for like 2 weeks. And it was like, no, we got to get back to that. So it really does make a difference. Yeah. It's important.
So, last point. There are no days off. And this is point number 5. So, there are no days off to die to yourself. And what I mean by that is when you're married, the way that we have the mindset of marriage is to become one. So, I'm supposed to love my wife as Christ loved the church, and I give myself for her. And she's supposed to adapt towards me. And I don't get a day off to dying to what I want to do, the way I see things, the way I want to communicate, what I want to accomplish. There's always a part in every single day where it's like, hold on, what do you want to do too? Is this tied to the vision that we have when we're seeking God first and His kingdom and His righteousness, and all the things that we need will be added to us, and all the things that we have will be increased? But it's like, do I just only think about what I want to see? And I can't just kick her to the curb. Hey, I got you now, and you're under my cuff, under my sleeve, and now you're gonna do whatever I tell you to do. No, it doesn't work like that. I literally have to say, hey, sometimes. And a lot of times it's like, what do you want to do? Yes, we're going to do what you want. Even though I agree with what you want to do, it's still your idea. We're going to roll with it. Even if I don't want to do what you want to do, sometimes we still go with what you want to do. And every once in a while, maybe 1 out of 11 is what I want to do. Maybe 1 out of 8, I'm right. But most times she's right. Even if she's wrong, she's right. You're right, babe. Love you.
I use that same tool as well.
Yes. 1 in every 11 times, or 1 in every 8. But yeah. So, long story short, same exact point. You have to die to yourself, because it's easy to get married with a single mindset, and a lot of times initially years ago we found ourselves in that single mindset where it's like, oh, no, I always did it this way. It's like, yeah, you used to always do it that way, but you're married now, so you can't just do this or do that. Like a lot of people we know that have joint accounts, and some don't have joint accounts. Hey, it's my money. It's my money. I made this money. You pay for your stuff, I pay for my stuff. It's like, hold up.
We don't do it that way.
We don't do it like that. It's like, no, this is ours. Everything we have is ours. Now, I don't wear her clothes. She wears mine. So it's like, this is crazy. But nonetheless, it's like you literally join those visions together, and you cannot leave the other person behind. And there are no days off. That same level of humbleness and have it your way as you did on the marriage day, it's like, that's every day. And if you always have the internal desire that I want to give you everything you want to give me everything I want, what can I complain about? You're doing everything in your power to give me everything I want, and I'm doing everything in my power to give you everything you want. She's happy. I'm happy.
Ideally, that is what we aspire to be, like serving one another, looking at the needs of your spouse and knowing that your spouse is going to take care of you. That requires faith. That requires love. That requires God. And that was one of our last points, like our bonus point is
the overflow.
Go ahead and take it.
No, you got it.
Our personal time with God is so important, and our spouses get the overflow of what we get from God. So God was the reason why we got together, especially our marriage. Like, it would not have happened without God. He was the biggest factor to our marriage. And so if
we were not looking for each other.
Woo. We weren't.
We're the exact opposite of what we wanted, both of us.
Yes. Anyway, we're not going there.
Yeah.
So, let me make this shorter. So, yeah. So, basically, you have to prioritize your time with the Lord. My quiet time with God is so precious. There have been seasons where I got to spend a lot more time with God, and there are seasons where I didn't get to spend as much time with God, or I didn't prioritize it, and it showed in my marriage. How I treated God was how I was treating my husband. So if I wasn't prioritizing my time with God, I wasn't prioritizing the needs of Jared. I wasn't thinking about what he wanted from me or what he needed from me. I was just thinking about, I got to get this, and that done, and I need to get it done. Leave me alone. And that's how I was treating God, and that's how I was treating my spouse.
She's like, leave me alone.
Yeah, so it can get rough, and like your spouse should get the overflow of what you get from God. You know, I'm a better person when I spend time with the Lord.
Yes. So, Lord, take her. As much time as y'all need to have. Because, woo. And, shoot, take me too.
Yes.
Because I don't want to be a grumpy cat.
Yeah, that's what we call
grumpy
it.
Cat?
Grumpy cat?
Grumpy cat.
But I would say some little extra bonus little tips is basically have a vision for 5 years. If you are newlywed couple, literally in the beginning of our marriage, we made a goal for like 1 year and 5 years. I think we may have did like 2 or 3, but we definitely did 1 and 5 for sure.
We did 1 and 5, and then I think we did 10. But I think our immediate stuff was in that first 3 years, which is where we capitalized on most of. Actually, no.
No, it was 5.
We did the 5, yeah. Mm-hmm. But the first 3 years is like, okay, everything's working, even all the way up to 5. But on the last little part of 5, it's like we stopped planning for the next step.
Yeah.
We still accomplished the things that we want to do in the 5 years, but now that it's 5 years and however many days, it's like, okay, hold on, what was 5 years in 1 day? 5 years in 1 month?
Right.
We didn't continue in the midterm of what's after the 5. So now it's like, okay, we know it works.
We need to be planning for the next 5. So that's why we were saying planning is essential, even literally down to the day, like.
And it's funny because like some of our plans were like our 3-year mark, for an example, wanting to have a baby was 3 years and 1 month. So we weren't exactly right, but we had a plan. Like we wanted to have a baby at 3 years. It was 3 years and 1 month.
No, well, we got my last period. Well, we got married on November 30th. My last period was November 26th.
Yeah.
So we got pregnant somewhere.
The purpose of that is not that everything is perfect, because not everything is perfect. But you can plan perfectly, or try to plan perfectly. And if things are a little bit off, things are a little bit off, because not everybody can have a baby on a certain day, which neither did we. We didn't even deliver on our due date. We didn't have the kind of delivery. Yeah. Well, we'll leave the delivery story. We got another video. That below. Yeah. But nonetheless, planning is important, and it changes everything.
It does. Yeah. So like he was saying, like some things, like I would say 95% of the things, if not 98% of the things that we planned, we actually got. Yeah. And some things we didn't, and God had another plan, and you have to know that.
And those are always better.
Yeah, they're always better, even when they don't seem like it, because it wasn't, what you planned for. It all serves a purpose, so you have to be okay with that. And then, sex.
What about it?
Sex is important.
Oh.
After 5 years of marriage.
Talk to me. You know what? We can cut the camera. You want to go?
I realized, no. Can you stop behave? Goodness gracious.
I'm behaving. You just popped up.
I just wanted to be real and say that sex really is important, and you have to listen to your spouse to see what they require and what they need. And what you require, communicate that, and then meet them where they are. There have been times where, like most women, you just don't feel like it, or you say no, and that's selfish. It really is selfish when it all boils down to it, because you want to get to a place where you are really serving your spouse and meeting them where they are. And I just learned that Jared is really simple. He doesn't require a lot of things.
I don't require a lot of things at all. Nope.
One of which is that. So he's very easy to please.
We good.
And so I would say over the course of our marriage, I'm not saying that we've been perfect in that area, and I've always been like, oh yes, anytime, whatever. I may have said that, but my actions didn't always follow through. So being very humble right now and admitting my issues. But anyway, but now I realize that no, he really is simple. He's been saying what he needs since the very first day, and it's like, oh, it didn't change. Oh, that's it? That's all you want? Okay, let me stop being selfish. So, sex is important.
Yeah.
You and say anything?
No, with that. Yeah. So now this is my sexy voice. I'm just joking.
I was about to say
that. That's not, I've
he
never
doesn't
used
have
that.
a sexy voice.
I
just
don't.
To let you guys know.
I don't. It's like, hey.
It's just whatever. It's none of your business. That's what it is.
But yeah. So what was I going to say? So yes, sex is definitely important, but not only that. Having whatever the priority for your spouse is important. So whatever they prioritize in that day or that time, that season, if that's at the top of their list, put it at the top of your list. So sometimes it may be sex, sometimes it may be vacation, sometimes it may be shopping, sometimes it may be going to the spa, or just having an hour away from your kid. Like it's whatever the case may be. Sometimes you're like, hey, I just wanna sit down without holding River. Now she walks around, she does what she wants to do now. But at first it was like, so we just had an important call that we had to discontinue to get back to our video. Now that we're back, yes.
Sometimes we just want to put River down and have a meal.
Yeah, sometimes we just want to put River down and have a meal. And that's where date night is important. Right. Prioritizing that to have it every single week. And just making your spouse's priorities your priorities. That's where it goes back to dying to self. Because if it's important to her, it's automatically important to me. And then once she sees that I value what's important to her, it's easier for her to turn to value what's important to me. Like there's been some times where it's like she comes home and food is cooked, the house is clean, laundry's done, bathrooms are clean, River sleep. She's like, oh shoot. And I'm like, oh shoot. I'll leave it at that.
Wait, you said you come home and that stuff is done? Yeah. Oh.
No, I come home. I mean, you come home and that stuff is done.
Oh, that stuff done. Oh, that stuff is done. Yeah, and I'm like, all right. So you have to know, like, your spouse's, like, love language, their intimacy language, like, what provokes them to want to spend time, you know what I'm saying? Or have sex. What provokes them to want to be intimate. Guys, those are the lessons that we learned in 5 years of marriage, and I'm so grateful that we made it this far. Yeah. Like,
because there's some days we didn't know we was going to make it.
Yeah, right. We always knew that.
We always knew we was going to make it, but some days we didn't want to make it.
Yeah, we... Like, the D word is not a word in our house. Like, we don't believe
Dang!
It. And it happens. And for some people, it needs to happen and it's biblically sound. But we just say, hey, we got to work for it. We in this together.
Yeah, and I ain't trying to start over with somebody else and got to learn them all over again. And
it'll take too much time.
Yeah.
So we going to stick this thing out.
Yeah.
Plus, we love each other and we intentionally make marriage fun. And you have to do that. So.
And that has to be planned.
I think even doing YouTube has been like a fun outlet for us. Yeah. Like you have to find a fun hobby, first of all, personally that you enjoy, but something that you guys enjoy together too. So we both enjoy empowering other people. That was one of the things that connected us when we got married. We were both in pageants and doing stuff like that. So we enjoyed stuff like that. So YouTube was kind of like our little fun outlet for our marriage too. Yeah. Yeah. So
we're just going to stay in our lane and keep driving.
That's right. So we love you guys. Oh my gosh. I actually miss this, sitting down and doing videos.
We just need to do it more often.
Yeah,
I've been saying a lot of stuff, but you know, I can't always assume that my spouse understands what I mean when I say it. So I got to make sure.
And I have to say it a couple more times. Anyway, so yeah, we love you guys. If you guys have any more ideas of anything that you guys want us to talk to you guys about, some points, some lessons that we learned along this process of marriage, parenthood, whatever, let us know.
Love you.
Love you.
Hasta luego.
Bye.